Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Total Retirement Game Plan, where we discuss strategies and ideas on how you can have the freedom to live more and leave your mark in retirement. Today's topic, I'm pretty excited about. You may not see it on my face, but we're ready to go. We're going to talk about the importance of reviewing your portfolio before you retire. Here's one thing I do want to talk about. This is important to me. A lot of plans, right? You build a portfolio first, then you put together a plan, and then you try and figure out your purpose. Here at Left Tackle, we do things differently. First, we got to understand what our purpose is and really figure that out. Then we got to build a plan that supports the purpose. And then we're going to build an investment portfolio that can support the plan and support the purpose, right? Let's get things in the right order of operations if we go back to simple math in high school, elementary school. It's important to do things in the right order. We're going to talk about the importance of reviewing your portfolio before you retire, but even before we do this, let's understand our purpose, let's build a plan, and then build a proper portfolio to support those things. Of course, as we get into retirement, we start thinking about risk in our portfolio a little bit differently, because here's what we've done, right? For 30, 40, 50 years, the main objective has been, let's save as much as possible. Let's grow what we've got, because that's what we're trying to do. Give us as much as possible to have that to live on in retirement. We have not thought about, making withdrawals during that time. We have not really thought a ton about the risk that we're taking because our time horizon has been much longer. But as we get into retirement or close to it, we start thinking about our portfolio and our investments a little bit differently. Now, what we think about is, how can I make sustainable withdrawals? We're no longer necessarily accumulating, but we're decumulating, meaning we got to come down off the mountain. We got to have this money to live on and to enjoy. And our process, what we love about it is it helps people understand they can start spending this. If we have a proper plan, we can have the freedom and the confidence and clarity that this is money we can spend. We've been saving it for this, right? So let's talk about, what does de-risking a portfolio mean as you get to retirement, because now we want to be able to make sustainable withdrawals. So why does this matter? Retirement, again, it changes the way we think about risk because our goals are now different. Big market swings can have a big impact on our withdrawals in retirement. So understanding volatility and the impact that has on our portfolio and our plan is really important. Making a strategic plan can give us the financial peace of mind, knowing that we've built a plan to support the purpose, and then we've built a portfolio to support the plan, gives people that financial peace of mind. And then understanding risk versus security, right? Having some risk going into retirement is not a bad thing. But understanding how much risk we're taking and where we're taking it and making sure we're taking it in the right spots, that can give us that security to know that we can make it through retirement regardless of what the market does and the behavior that it has. So what are some of the risks that we need to plan for? One, obviously, is market risk. Just investment losses due to market volatility. Look, I don't know what the market's going to do tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to do over, the next 6 months. I know it's going to do something like this. There is going to be short-term volatility. So there is market risk that we need to plan for. Sequence of returns risk. This is understanding that we don't know what the market's going to do in those first few years when we retire. Poor returns early in retirement could derail your plan. So we have to have a plan that mitigates sequence of returns risk. And regardless of when we retire, we can withstand any market volatility and make it through. Inflation risk, which is just understanding that the costs of goods are going to rise over time. So knowing that we have a plan in place to protect us against inflation, which gives us the continued purchasing power that we need to take that yearly vacation that we're planning for, to spend time with the grandkids, to maybe spoil them a little bit if we want to create experiences with our family that are going to be lasting and impactful. And then longevity risk, right? Understanding that most people are actually going to live longer than they think they will, especially in our environment today and everything that's happening and all the technological advances. Do we have enough to last us even if we live into our 90s. Some of us are going to live to 100. That's one of my goals, right? So my plan is going to have to consider longevity risk. So when we talk about de-risking a portfolio as we go into retirement, let's talk about what that is and what it's not, okay? What it is making sure that we understand that we're going from maybe an aggressive growth that we've been doing our whole life to a more balanced approach that mitigates the risk we just had on the previous screen, right? Market volatility, sequence of returns, longevity risk, inflation risk. So transitioning from a pure growth mindset to more of a balanced approach. Prioritizing our income stability and principal protection. There's a lot of research that shows the more guaranteed sources of income you have, the more people actually spend in retirement because they're confident that they can spend that, and they've prioritized their income stability and protecting the principal that they have. Building a portfolio that matches your retirement timeline. Right? Again, understanding we don't build a portfolio, then a plan, then figure out our purpose. We figure out our purpose. We build a plan, and then we make sure the portfolio matches that plan, right? So making sure it matches our timeline and the things that we're trying to accomplish. Here's what it's not. It's not going to 100% cash. It's not trying to time the market and make emotional decisions. It's not avoiding all market exposure. Having a proper built plan helps us understand we've got some money in a place for short-term needs. We've got other money in a place to help generate income, what we need to live on over the next 5 to 10 years. And then we still have some money that is a little more long-term growth oriented, right? So it's making sure that we're not avoiding all market exposure, but we build a plan to give us the stability, the confidence to spend what we can to enjoy retirement. And it is not making emotional reactive decisions, right? A recent example this year with everything going on, tariff talk, etc. If you made emotional decisions earlier this year and you did go to 100% cash, or you reduced all of your market exposure, you missed out on one of the biggest upswings that we've had over the last 3 months. So it's not making emotional reactive decisions. It's building a plan that supports your purpose and then having a portfolio that's built to support that plan to help you achieve your long-term goals. Now, when we talk about this de-risking process, there is not a one-size-fits-all formula. All right, you got to take into consideration what you're going to be getting from Social Security. You got to take into consideration whether you have any pensions or not. You got to take into consideration what have you built to give you stable income so that you can have that freedom to spend your money. Everybody's situation is different. We got to understand what your risk tolerance is, what your timeline is, what are your income needs. Those things all matter. Right? That's how we're going to build a strategy that makes sense for your situation. And that's what we do, right? We build strategies, we build things that support your purpose and your plan. And as with anything, the one constant we know is things are going to change. So we have to have a process to make adjustments over time. I come from a sports background. We call that an audible, right? You may go in with one play called, something changes, you see a safety shifting down, whatever it may be, and you've got an audible that you can go to as those things happen. So as life changes, making sure we have a process to review regularly and make adjustments as necessary. That was a lot, folks, but I enjoyed that conversation, right? How do we transition from aggressive growth to creating income in retirement? How do we talk about de-risking a portfolio, what it is, what it isn't, and understanding that there is not a one-size-fits-all. You need to have a strategy that's tailored to your specific situation. Guys, go out there and enjoy your day. This has been another episode of the Total Retirement Game Plan, where we talk about how you can live more and leave your mark. If you're liking our videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel, comment on our videos, let us know what else you'd like to hear about, and we'll do our best to continue to put out good information and good content for y'all. Have a wonderful day.